Welcome back everyone to my second Let's Play of Final Fantasy 1 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Last episode, Albert, Beez, Chip, and Nichols started opening up the rooms that were locked by the Mystic Key doors. They got all the treasure chests in Elfland Castle, in Corneria Castle, and then in the Temple of Fiends. Now it's time to head back into the Marsh Cave to get all the treasures on the bottom floor of the Marsh Cave. After that, they will head to the Northwest Castle, where Astos was. There was a locked room there. And then finally, they're going to head off to the Dwarf Cave. We're saving the Dwarf Cave for last, even though it has a good sword there, the Dragon Sword, available for Chip, because Nichols has the Rune Sword. We're saving that so we don't do any backtracking, because we can use the TNT that we got in Corneria Castle, the treasury there, to help Narek create the canal that'll allow us to progress with the story. So, yeah, if we went to the Dwarf Cave, we'd have to, backtrack here, so just saving some time. So we have enough backtracking as is, going in all these old dungeons to get all the treasure, but there's some good treasure, so that's of course why we want to backtrack. Plus, like I said, I always want 100% all these games, so that means I have to collect all the treasures, find all the enemies, so there will be a new enemy here that we will encounter as one of the trap tiles, some cobras. So, other trap tiles will include the wizards that guarded the crown that we got a while ago, so... Yep, here are some of those wizards right here, so these wizards will be a common enemy in the next big dungeon, the Earth Cave. That'll be opened up once, like I said, we help Narek make that canal. Right now, our ship is trapped to the inner sea. I think it's called the Aldi Sea. But once we make that canal, we'll be able to get to the outside sea and get to some... 2 new towns, and like I said, a new dungeon. So, but yeah, in that Earth Cave, the wizards will be a common enemy, and because they served as a mini boss here in this cave, you won't be able to run from them, even though they'll just be a set random encounter. There's a few enemies that are like that, so, but I'll point them out. So, beep beep bat. So, this room, it's locked, but there's no treasure in it, so, yep, just wanted to show off. I'll be showing off all the rooms, even if there is no treasure in them, just to show you that, they're empty. But there is treasure in these final 2 rooms, so, and more wizards, and the trap tile at the bottom of this chest, that's where we'll run into the cobras, so... This is the chest that we can't get without triggering one trap tile. So, let's finish off these wizards here. Yeah, too bad the rune sword doesn't do extra damage to wizards. Like I said, well, those are coding issues. But yeah, you can just see with that rune sword how much better Nichols is, so... And Chip will be very similar. So, got a silver knife there. Yep, here's the new enemy, the Cobra. Luckily, they can't poison us, so... Unlike their brethren, the Asps. So... Ouch, that critical hit, though. Not very nice. But... Well, no, one more round will finish him off, so... But these are another common enemy that we'll run into in the Earth Cave. So... Not too many new enemies in the Earth Cave, so a lot of them we are basically trap tile enemies. So like the cobras, there'll be mummies that are trap tile in the Northwest Castle, and then image monsters as well. They're common enemies in the Earth Cave. So yeah, more cobras. So there's another trap tile in this room. If you go north of the door and then directly east, you run into some wizards, so the trap tile is not in front of the chest. So, or that trap tile is not in front of the chest. So, there's a few rooms that are like that. Usually, though, like the trap tile is like right when you enter the door, similar to the gargoyles that we ran into in the Temple of Fiends in the northeast corner of that dungeon. Sometimes instead of placing the trap tile in front of a treasure chest, they'll place it as soon as you enter the door. That way, you trigger it twice once you go into the room and then when you're trying to leave the room. So, game's trying to be tricky, but oh well. This party's doing pretty well. Silver bracelet that I'll upgrade to the copper bracelet. So, we need to give to Chip or Nickel. So, like I said, they both pretty much have the same chance of being targeted by an enemy, basically 1 in 8. So, like I said, slightly more for Chip, it's like 12.7, and then Nickels is like 12.3, but, you know, for all intents and purposes, it's 1 in 8. So, yeah, no trap tile there, but there's the trap tile, like, right here. Like I said, north and east of the doorway, run into some wizards who do not cast spells, but like I said, they still hit pretty hard, but we, one of the good things is we're getting some pretty decent armor from these treasures that we're getting, and stuff that we can't use we're able to sell, because I said once we get access to the outer sea, we'll have 2 new towns we can visit, and one of the towns we can buy silver armor, all different types of silver armor to deck out our fighters. We'll get the silver mail, we'll get silver helmet, silver shield, and silver gauntlets, so we'll turn our 2 fighters into some defensive powerhouses. We'll also be able to get butler shields at one of the towns, which is the first shield that our thieves are able to use. So, there we go, take care of the wizards. And yeah, thieves don't usually have much defensive options, which is why you'd want to get them class changed, because once they become ninjas, a whole bunch of new armor opens up for them. So, and weapons too. So, yeah, the ninja can use every weapon except for the Excalibur sword, which is what you get off from the Dwarf Smith if you get the adamant. But like I said, the Excalibur is the second best sword in the game. And you won't get the adamant until the second to last dungeon in the game, so yeah, you're getting that sword for a long, long time. But we're done here in the Marsh Cave. We never have to come back here. Woohoo! And then now we just have to head back to the Northwest Castle where Astos was and loot that. So we have 3 treasure chests there. And 2 new enemies that we can run into, so thanks to the trap tiles. So, and those 2 enemies, mummies and images, they'll be common enemies in the Earth Cave then. So, the mummies are pretty good to grind off of if you have, you know, harm 2 or fire 2, but you don't have access to those spells, but we do have access to some good weapons and some solid defense, so here's another new enemy, Geists. And these guys are really annoying because they have stun touch. So, I play a little further ahead. So I'm actually 2 videos ahead, you know, when I release a video. So, but the annoying thing is I just ran into a group of these Geists, and they preemptive attacked me. And they basically like locked down. They hit all my characters and stunned them. And I was afraid. I was like, oh no, don't tell me I'm gonna like lose to a bunch of Geists, because they just kept stunning my characters, and it was a very bad battle. But I managed to get through it. So, like I said, I 100% these games, but I also want to make it obsessive compulsive, you know, disorder that I have. I want to make sure that none of my characters ever gets knocked out. You know, so that way they all level at the same time. So that's why I, you know, make those saves, you know, before I take on like a boss like Astos, because if he would have used that rub spell, well, that would have, you know, put a damper in my whole thing, keeping everybody at the same level. speaking of levels, we just gained level 12. So, strength agility, pretty decent level for Nichols there. Only stat he didn't get was intelligence, but intelligence is a bug stat. Doesn't do anything in this game. So, in some of the future remakes, it determines how potent your black magic is. But that's common in all the future ones, so... I was just speaking about making saves, so... Just to be safe, let's make another save out here real quick. In case these trap tiles are mean to us. So... Sneak around. And we saw this room earlier when I showed off that it couldn't be entered. But now with the Mystic Key, we can finally enter it. 3 chests. The trap tiles are all directly in front of the chests. So you can avoid all these trap tiles, but like I said, I want to show off the trap tiles, and like I said, we'll see some enemies here. Like I said, if you didn't run into them, we would see these enemies later on in the Dwarf Cave. Both the images and the mummies, which are the trap tile on the other 2 chests, common enemies in that dungeon. But so yeah, we'd see these guys eventually, but might as well see him here now. Oh. Come on, Beez, you're supposed to hit. Our thieves, I think, are hitting better than our fighters. They shouldn't, but it's all luck of the draw. So, I don't think Bird or Beez got a double hit at all in that thing. So, Falchion, it's a weapon. I think it's a slight upgrade to the silver knife. Doesn't matter, though, because we'll be, you know, trading that off real quick once we get to the Dwarf Cave. So, let's set up this trap tile. Some mummies. So, it's really nice if you get like 4 mummies. Then everybody's getting 300 experience. So, right now I'll just get 150. Remember, I said a while ago, I think in the first episode, to determine how much experience you get, you take the amount of experience that each monster gives, multiply it by the amount of monsters you have, and then divide it by the amount of party members you have awake, not KO'd at the end of the battle. So 300 times 2, 600, divided by 4, 150. So, Iron Gauntlet. It's a much better upgrade for gloves. So yeah, we got rid of Beez's gloves. So, yeah, what's it called? Boat is almost all decked out in iron stuff. So, just rearrange my equipment there to have everything in their proper slots. We'll be selling a lot of that iron stuff later on. We'll also be selling this power staff, which is sells for a lot of money, like a little over 6,000 gold. The price is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's a pretty terrible weapon. It doesn't do anything. Some people speculate that maybe it was supposed to have like a special property to it, like a high critical hit rate, or but it doesn't do anything. So it's pretty. I don't think I've ever used that staff in any of my playthroughs of this game. So, but mainly just get it to sell. So. Alright, well that clears out the Northwest Castle, which means that all we have left to clear out is the Dwarf Cave treasure room. And that's where we're heading right now, because that's where we have to head to advance with the plot. We have to put that TNT that we got in Conaria Treasury to good use. Well, we don't have to do it, Narek the dwarf has to. So... although it's been locked for over 400 years, so I don't know, would TNT degrade over time? I don't know. I'm not big into explosives. The only explosives I ever dealt with were I threw a live grenade in basic training. That's one of the things we had to do. We had to. It was interesting because they had like grenade practice, and you had to get the grenade, you had to get a dummy grenade, and you had to show that you can throw it like 30 feet, basically like 6 meters. Not 6 meters, like little under 10 meters. Because the kill radius of a grenade is about 5 meters. Which is why, like, when you're on patrol, you space yourselves out like 5 meters. So that, you know, if a grenade landed right in the middle, I can only take out 3 people at once. You're not all clustered together. But, yeah, if you couldn't throw it that far, they'd take you for, like, remedial training to help you throw. And kind of threw it like a baseball. So some people, I guess, try to throw it like a football or whatever. I wasn't good at baseball, but at least I could throw a ball. So I was able to throw the grenade. So actually, took we had the grenade course in basic training, and actually got expert in the grenade. So I managed to. You went through different obstacles and had to throw grenades. It's like one you had to get it in a circle, one you had to like get into a bunker, one you had to like get into a car window. But yeah, I was good. I was able to good at chucking grenades, but I never had to throw one in combat. So just that one live grenade in basic training. So iron helmet there. Upgrade for the wooden helmet. So yeah, boat will now have all iron gear. Let's start selling some of these. Start selling some of these items here. We'll just drop that wooden helmet. It's not worth a lot. We're gonna get some more armor over here. There's that dragon sword. Another silver knife. Another wooden helmet that we can sell. Can't hold anymore. So yeah, it's sad. You don't get a lot of armor slots. So the wooden helmet is probably the cheapest thing that we can just afford. Silver armor. That's much better than the iron armor. We're gonna eventually, like I said, upgrade all our iron gear for silver. So one of the towns that'll open up once we open up the canal, or Narek opens up the canal, he's that dwarf right there to the south of us, will be, whatchamacallit, will be Crescent Lake. And Crescent Lake is where we can get silver equipment, so, and those bucklers for our thieves. So let's go give Narek his TNT so we can finally finish his canal. Oh, wonderful, nice work, yes. Yes, indeed. This TNT is just what I need to finish my canal. Excuse me while I get to work. And then he disappears, and that one spot of land on the overworld will disappear as well. We'll be able to sail west to Melmond. Old Narek is a very respectable dwarf. Oh, did you see that canal? Old Narek truly is, great. I forget what he said there. When it scrolled a little too fast. But there's a hint of floater. That's a very important item. We need that to eventually get the airship. The airship is needed to reach all the towns in the north. Remember, we were told that there were no ports in the north, so even though we'll be able to pretty much travel the entire world with our ship once this canal has been built, we won't be able to get to any of the towns or cities in the north because there's no ports to dock at. So in order to get to those towns, we need the airship. The floater is a necessary component to get the airship. But we'll learn about that in some future towns. Now we'll just pick the dwarves. Some of their dialogue has changed since we've completed their little sub-quest there. Get into a fight right as soon as I exit the cave. Maybe they were waiting to ambush some dwarves. We'll take care of them. So, I think it was just some ogres. Ogres are pretty common around here. So now let's just head over here, and there's going to be that one slot of land that's going to be disappeared. There it is. We can slide right through. And then not too far from, to the west of that canal, we have Melmond. And it's a town that's, in ruin. Look at all the tombstones. The grass is turned into sand. Warriors revive the power of the orbs. And we'll learn why this is all happening here. Sarda does not fear the evils of the cave. Who's Sarda? We'll find out. If the orb of earth begins to shine again, the earth shall revive. Pass through the Titan's tunnel, then south to see Sarda the sage. They say the ancient people used a stone to make their ship float. Yeah, the floater. I am Jim. My home is the dwarf village, but I am here investigating. Maybe those monsters were trying to ambush him. In the northern world, there was once a prosperous civilization, but now it is in ruins. Yeah, we'll learn at Crescent Lake that 200 years ago, the fiend of water and air teamed up together to destroy the northern civilizations. This is a well. Nothing fancy about it. Just a well. I'm a farmer. Just can't do much farming here around here. The soil is all ruined and stuff. So, just sell a bunch of these old weapons. The weapons here are not worth buying. None of them are better than the weapons that we got, that we found in the treasure rooms, or that we bought in Elfland. So, the best sword that they have here is the long sword, but that's a decrease from the silver sword. So, did we talk with this guy? What does he say? This town was invaded by the vampire. The clinic was destroyed and the town was cursed. Yeah, there's no clinic, so no revival in this town. There's also no item shop. So, the Titan who lives in the tunnel eats gems. He loves rubies. We'll talk with that Titan a little bit later. We want to talk with that guy who's in like the scholar robe over there to the right. Everybody knows me. What? You've never heard of Dr. Un? Dr. Un is a very important NPC. He allows us to complete a side quest later on. I guess it's not really a side quest because we have to do it in order to complete the game. So, we can buy a silver bracelet here for our other thief, Nichols. Steel armor is very expensive, not really worth it. It's really powerful armor, but it's really expensive. And a little bit later on, in 2 dungeons, not in the Earth Cave, but the dungeon afterwards, we'll start getting elemental armor, which has the same defensive power as the steel armor, but it has it gives less of a penalty to evade. Steel armor is really heavy, and it actually has some elemental properties. So the fire reduces damage that you take from ice, and the ice mail reduces damage you take from fire. So the steel armor, not really a good buy. It's kind of a joke armor for what it's worth. So the Earth Cave is to the south. The vampire of the Earth Cave is stealing like the Earth's vitality. So it looks like we're gonna have to take on that vampire. But that'll have to wait. So let's rest up here at the inn, heal ourselves up, so that we're all ready, healed up and ready to go for our next episode where we explore the rest of this area. Take care, have a good one, see you then. Bye!